Hello, welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Lauren.
And I'm Ian.
And I'm Tolly Tall today.
Tolly Tall. Hello, welcome to our restore and recharge practice. Do you have a small step, ottoman, low surface that will work with our Captain Morgan pose on, and perhaps a chair or balance aid at your side? It's time for Lauren to get it down off that pedestal, although I know we place her all the way at the top. And we'll start with the head neck for me, ribs, and Lauren will take things over with those feet. You can stay seated or standing up on your perch, and let's start at the head neck. First, can we tip our head neck like a teapot side to side? Use the chin and the nose as centering points, and same efforts on the other side, and ear to shoulder. Low effort, but pull down on that short side to stabilize, and have the ear approach the other shoulder. Repeat once or two more as you pull down and laterally flex, and then return to a centering position. Now take the hands across the body or just wear those shoulder blades in a little retraction, and then can we tip the rib cage in the same fashion? Lateral flexion through center, lateral flexion. Make sure you breathe. Pull down on the short side to return to center and replicate the same effort on the other side. Through center and again. For one last time, can we aim to keep the head centered and have the body do its thing? Laterally tipping. Not easy, checking myself out, kind of difficult, but again, isolate the head neck and that rib cage. Next at the head neck, let's extend. Low effort, lightly pull down to stabilize the flexors of the neck as we extend. Then chin down, crown head high to flex. Repeating again, pulling down to going up, and if you can, look on that horizon, and then same effort to chin tuck down. Reset somewhere between those two positions with your eyes on that horizon, and like Lauren has, let's retract the shoulder blades. Now moderate chin tuck first. From here, let's candy cane or flex that upper back, working through this T-spine component of the rib cage. Then, pull down to extend to tall. Avoid going backwards and instead pull down, take forward, lightly towards aggressively, engage that core shield to lift up to tall again. And relax. Shake that out. Let's assemble those unique ranges with a little rotation now, and we'll start with our chin tuck in, a light flexion down forward. Then rotate the chin across the clavicle, look up the wall, ending up the head, neck, and sitting to the other side. Then look up the wall, head, neck arrives at center, pull the crown high, reset in the middle, then lightly look up in that extension phase, and then out to the original side. Then down the wall, chin to clavicle, find the sternum, pull down, stabilize as we extend or look up, and rotate one last time to the other wall, sniff the other armpit, and roll through center, reset on the horizon. Last thing for me is to do that same movement through the ribcage T-spine. Hands in tight, shoulder blades retract, gentle chin tuck, and then that candy cane, I call that 4 o'clock. Then over to center, pull down, flexing, then rotating. And either to that 4 or 8 o'clock quadrant in the back, lift up and over and return to stack. Repeating the extension first, so pull down, but lift up and tall. And next, we'll rotate to the back corner. Include that side bend down to the front and hold the shield down as we get tall. And breathe. Keep pull down to lift to tall. And our little shake there. Heads, rib cages, and now onto those hips. And feet, sorry.
To the feet.
To the feet.
Let's start with our feet first. Starts from the bottom. Right now with your feet underneath you, let's feel that contact with the floor and the heel. Then we have that lateral border connected of the foot. We have all the balls of the foot there's kind of just one, but anyway, the balls of the foot connected, and then all 10 toes spread out and place them down. Right now, with that foot on the floor, or feet on the floor, pull together as if you're trying to engage that arch, as you pull the arch together. So we're trying to do that work with the arch of the foot versus just crunching in the toes. Try that one more time, pulling the foot together to engage that arch. Now keep that tension as we gently pull the foot off the floor, the heel, to that demi point, ball of foot, toes connect. Now we'll use our toes to gently point. Keep the knee in line as we roll over the toes. Ooh, feel that nice length through the front of the foot. Then try to drive down into the floor to get back to the tiptoes, to the ball of the foot, and the heel will drive down as that hip extends. Repeat on the other side. Feel that pull off the floor, knee faces forward, ankle in line. Use the toes to gently point. Allow the toes to flex over, and then push into the floor to get back to the tips of the toes, the demi point, and the heel comes down as the hip extends. Let's add on to that a little bit more. So we'll pull to that demi point. We'll gently point the toes, flex over. Right now our knee is pointed forward and our ankle's tucked in. Let's try to keep the knee forward but wing the ankle out. And then pull that ankle back in line. Get back to the tiptoes and the demi point. Pause here. Try the same thing. Knee stays forward. Can you wing that ankle out to the side? Then pull the ankle back in and press the heel down, squeezing the cheek, pulling the kneecap up. Repeat second side. First to the demi, then we point, then we lightly flex over. Knee stays here, tall on your other leg. Allow that ankle to wing out. Pull the ankle back in line, get back to the tips of the toes and the demi point and try up. Hips drive through, pull the floor together with those arches, squeeze the cheeks, pull the kneecaps up, brace the core. Oh, all you're doing is standing there.
Taskmaster here.
Now relax. Shake it out. Let's get to our ottoman, low step, whatever you may have. Watch your toesies.
Watch your toes.
Whatever you may have available to you in your house. Standing, just let me square that up a bit. Perfect. Standing behind your object, gently bend a knee and slowly flex the hip. Meaning the knee is going to come up. We're thinking about keeping that femur pulled back in our socket and our standing leg nice and straight. Place your foot down. Now, let's lightly hike that hip up and then pull it down. And then I'd like you to do things get tricky. We're going to keep that standing leg tucked under so that cheek squeezed. We're going to take this leg and try to drive the femur back and anterior tip that side of the hips. So we have one side trying to tip back and one side staying tucked under. In other words, you're pulling that leg in and pressing this hip forward, creating that scissor tension for 3, 2, and then relax, but try to stay where you are, but relax your muscles. Ooh. Let's do that again. Let's drive down on that top leg, pull it in. Drive down on the bottom leg, but press it forward. Create this forward and back tension, fighting each side, keeping that back hip nice and extended and straight-legged. For 3, 2, now keep the tension, but slowly start lifting off this foot off the step and hold. 2, now we're going to keep the knee bent, brush it back to parallel quads, and then gently straighten the knee out underneath. Give that a little shake, scratch your eye, do the same thing on the second side. First, parallel quads, bend a knee, lift that leg up, and gently place it on your step. Once there, we hiked that hip up and then we pulled it down. We tilted the tailbone to the back wall in that anterior pelvis tilt, and then we tucked both sides under. Right now that standing leg is tucked under, and we're going to take that top leg and think about pulling it back in our socket. So we have that press forward of the back hip, the pull in of the front leg. Feel that tension. You're probably feeling some work for the front of your standing leg hip. Great job. Keep that tension for 3, 2, and then gently relax, but try to stay. Good, one more time. Straighten that standing leg, squeeze that cheek, drive that top leg in, and feel the push-pull. That back hip remains extended for 3, 2, now keep that extension as you slowly lift this leg off the step and hold, keeping that knee bent for 3, 2, we'll keep it bent as it passes back underneath us, and then gently straighten that leg out. Hold it for a second, and then relax. Great.
Shoulder time. Elevating the shoulder blades. The rib cage stays stable and the blades lift up. Now, low effort, slowly start reaching for the floor or that scapular depression. Reach from the armpit versus these upper traps and feel a little tension. Perhaps triceps are cramping up. Shake it out and reset. As allowed, lift your hands towards forward, flexing on the shoulder. Keep the spine still and wrap the shoulder blades around the rib cage, that protraction action through the shoulder. Then, with low effort as well, retract, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Hold for a second and reset the arms to the side. Add a little shake and wiggle. And now let's add a little bit higher tension for stability of that shoulder blade to gently express the mobility of the shoulder itself. So, palms forward, low effort, shrug up. In this moment, Lauren will keep the shrug shape winning here, but try to touch the floor. Keep the scapula up from those upper trapezius muscles, but then pull down on the armpit and coast that effort away. Repeat on the other direction, in the other direction. Low effort, aim to touch the floor. Then stay heavy and anchored down, but try to shrug up. Perhaps you feel the arms adduct bring into the rib cage and those triceps nice and strong. Easy off with a little reset. Meet in the middle where gravity likes to set it, but repeat one more time with high tension as we shrug. Stay up, but try to touch that floor. Squeeze your bum, brace your core, continue to breathe. Isometrics for stability, then easy on the off. Oversell that down, driving down through those armpits. Stay anchored, stay to your car so it's very heavy, and then easy on the off. Repeating one more time.
I just flipped the car.
Thor can do it here, maybe not yours truly. Thor and whoever is unthored for here. Okay, one more time. This time the hands or arms face forward. Protract as Lauren will aim to touch my arms there. Now stay out front with those blades wrapping around the body and isometrically, with a lot of effort but no movement, try to draw those shoulder blades together as a row. For 3, 2, then retract the blades with stiff elbows. Stay retracted back, but then with all Lauren's might, she'll try to reach through my hands, but stay strong and strict with that retraction through the shoulder blades. Return the arms to the side, a little wiggle, and repeat that one more time. Arms reaching low, protracting through the shoulders, rounding the blades but not the spine. Stay out front and shore up that slack by drawing the shoulder blades together, but excite these armpit muscles to support the arm out front. Then retract the shoulder blade. Stay tight. Don't let that pencil go or that $1 million bill between the blades, but try to reach out front. The arms might shake. Engage your core, maintain your breath, and reset those arms to the side with our resets and those wiggles. From the shoulders, I think we're going back to those hips. Lauren, what do you got?
Let's come back to the hips and loosen up those hamstrings.
Okay.
We'll stand again behind your step ottoman object. This time, let's bring the leg up by flexing the hip. What that means is we'll get to that demi-point position as we started. Now, stay tall in that standing leg, flick the floor away with your toes, drag the foot up, and then gently extend it on your step. As we're set up here, let's pull our foot towards our shin or that dorsiflex position. Try to have your toes in line with your foot versus your toes reaching back towards you. Next, in that dorsiflex position, so ankle pulled towards you, foot pulled towards your shin, we'll gently drag that heel 1 millimeter towards you. Great. Now let's do the same tip of the hips. We'll gently anterior tip the hips or tailbone reaches to the back wall. Then we'll tuck them under. And then one more time end up in that anterior tip. We're going to try to keep that long leg that's on the step reaching back and tuck under that standing leg. Let's feel that push-pull tension again. And we're staying up tall, shoulders stacked over top of our hips right now. Next, we'll gently rotate that inseam. Have to be big. Let's do that one more time. We're rotating open, inseam towards the ceiling. As you do that, keep your knee nice and straight. Bring it back to center, that light internal rotation. Now, if you'd like a little bit more hamstring length, let's push the hips back behind us, keep the spine nice and long. The other thing that lengthens that hamstring is keeping that dorsiflex foot. It'll drive the heel away from us, lengthening it out. Hold for a second, and then gently extend to tall. We'll drag bending the knee off the step, reconnect the foot to the inseam, and then gently lower that leg down, toe, ball, heel, hip extends. Repeat on the other side. Peel that foot up off the floor. Flick with the toes. Drag up the inseam of your pants, and then gently extend the leg on the step. First things first, get that foot in the right place, so pull it towards your shin, toes in line. Gently tip the tailbone to the back wall, and then lightly tuck under. We'll re-tip that tailbone to the back wall, drag that heel a millimeter towards you, and then gently extend on the other hip. So we have one side pulling in, one side pressing forward for 3, 2, and then relax, but stay where you are. Now adding our rotations, we'll rotate the femur inseam towards the sky, and then with inseam opens up towards the ceiling, femur in the socket, and then back to center, and that light internal rotation. Nothing changes in that hips pelvis. Rotate the kneecap back to face the ceiling, toes up. Again, let's anterior tip the hips, maybe drag that heel a millimeter, and then we'll hinge by pushing both hips back and lightly hinging forward. Keep that foot in the dorsiflex position to lengthen out the heel and out the back of that back butt cheek. Feel the length through hamstrings, and then extend the hips. Start dragging the foot up off the step. Reconnect with the inseam of that pants as you drag the foot down. Toe, ball, heel, hips extend. Then relax.
We'll take that bench and place it out to the side and continue to work on those hips as per the squat. Starting with your feet in our narrow position, just underneath of those hips. Press the knees over the toes. Pull the feet. Ski jump, let's press those hip, or basketball jump, press those hips through to pull up the kneecaps to tall. Repeat. Pull the feet back, cantilevering that balance to have those knees over the toes, and then press those hips through to tall stand. Repeating again, we'll pull down. This time, let's stay that same height, but push down to peel those heels off the floor. Reset the heels to the floor. Could you get 1 millimeter lower, even if it's in your imagination? And repeat one last time. Peel the heels up. Use your balance aid as you need. Reset the heels to the floor. Press the hips through. And one last toe balance here. Straight knees. Drive down. Ribs over those hips. Squeeze your bum cheeks. Maintain your breath. And with control, return the feet to the floor. Next, wrists, because we'll go those push-ups and planks later today too. Let's get to the floor in that size style where we go knees over toes, peel up the heels with tension and control, return to the floor. Place the hands to the hands, and Lauren, take it over for a wrist warm-up.
All right, with those hands nicely spread out, open wide on the floor, try to see some space between your fingers. Pull your shoulders down out of your ears and gently rotate those elbow pits to face forward. As we're here, we're distributing the weight through our hands and our wrists by having our fingers heavy in the floor. So let's push our pinkies down, and then our rings, and our middles, and our index, and our thumbs. Now, as you're doing that, feel that connection through the callus line or under those knuckles connected to the floor. As well, feel that palm connection to the floor. Feel the weight distributed throughout, and let's gently pull, drifting our shoulders towards over top of our fingertips into wrist extension, and use your fingers to press yourself back. Do that one more time, pulling on the floor, distributing between all 10 fingers, the callus line, and the palm of the hand, and then we'll press back. End up just in this straight over position. Let's do one hand at a time, a couple first knuckle push-ups. We're gonna press the palm away from the floor, keeping the fingers heavy, and then down. As you do this, let's stay on the same arm for 2 more. As you do this, check in up to your ear, or is it staying packed? Control the down. One last time, pressing up. And then we'll return that palm to the floor and we'll repeat on the other side. Gently pressing the floor away, keeping the elbow as straight as possible and the shoulder packed. Control the lower. 2 more times here, pressing into those first knuckles. Does it feel the same on each side? Harder, different? Any answer is fine and correct. Now we'll push through both hands, pressing the floor away of what we did to get down. So first we have to sit back here, pointing those feet out behind us. Then we'll squeeze those cheeks and extend our hips. Tuck the toes. With or without your hands, rock back to that low squat position. And let's find those heels. Once we found the heels, press yourself through to tall. And then gently relax, shaking it out.
Shake it out. We love our bar practice with movements from the ballet. We've been on the ski hill or that parallel stance. So now let's turn open those hips. Pivoting on those heels, we get that external rotation at the hips. Press away. Stiffen the knees. Engage the quads and those hips. Then pull the feet together. Continue to pull so that the knees may bend and keep our hips over top of the feet. Then press down and grow to tall. Repeating, pulling down. Stay this height for a second longer, then press to tall. Create tension in a stressful place to create resiliency and perhaps deeper movements. The heels down, and could you continue to pull and sink 1 millimeter lower? Then again, find the balls of the feet, return to the heels, press the hips through. Same effort here, let's press to that first rise or the rise in our first position. Are those kneecaps straight? Push those ankle bones forward, squeeze your butt cheeks, use your balance aid as you need, and then slowly return to the floor. We'll return to the floor proper. Can we do that through this position here? Pull ourselves down, pull those heels down, even to get low enough so that our hands could touch, breaking some of those squatting rules by crouching forward, and then set up again on all fours, Lauren.
We'll take it through our plank position first before we do any push-ups to create that tension through our abs. So either from that modified plank position on our knees or from our toes, let's gently tuck those hips under, connecting the rib hip position. Then squeeze your butt cheeks. Without moving, pull your right hand to your right hip. Then your left hand to your left hip. Now pull both to the same hip at the same time. Core tension, glutes squeeze, shoulders packed, breathing under your shield, knees come down. Take a second off. If we're taking that time to push back into our child's pose, we're keeping the tailbone long and pressing ourselves back. As we push ourselves back through to that plank, let's come up again. Retuck the hips, engaging the core. Squeeze the cheeks, this time pulling that X pattern tension. So right hand pulls to left hip. Then left hand pulls to right hip. Then both hands pull to opposite hips, X pattern for 4, 3, 2, push the floor forward, tipping the tailbone up. Slowly walk those hands back to your feet, allowing the knees to bend as needed or stay straight through your forward fold. And stack yourself up to tall. Head is last to return on top. What you got squatting next time?
We got more squats. So if we started with our feet in parallel, let's assemble there. Then pivot on the heels to that first position. Transfer weight to one side, and then land toe ball heel in our second or that sumo position squat. Same effort here. Let's pull ourselves down, descending in the squat. But take a second. Look at foot stay heavy, but the knee go in. Then the foot stay heavy and pull that knee away. Repeat on the other side with the foot heavy, internally rotate and adduct at that hip, and then press it away and press equally out both sides to stand tall. Time under tension. Let's repeat one more time. Pull yourself to low. Keep the foot flat and pull the knee towards the middle. Then press the knee towards the back. Repeat on the other side. Keep the pinky side heavy as the knee goes forward, and keep the big toe side heavy of the foot as the knee goes back, and press to tall. But what about those toe balances? I can hear you saying, okay, let's pull ourselves low, And from here, stay low, but peel the heels up and reset the heels to the floor. Repeating again, pull those heels up, heels to the floor, press away, stiffen the knees, and again, that second position balance and maybe that balance aid at your side. Return to the floor with control, and then push to a single leg, and of course, the shake and the wiggles.
From the plank to the push-up. Let's get there via our hinge. Chop those hips back lightly again, anterior tip of the hips, keeping the spine nice and long as you hinge. The knees will bend, the shins will stay vertical. Feel that load through your hamstrings for an extra second. And then let's walk ourselves out either to that modified position from our knees or the plank position from our toes to do our push-ups. Whichever you choose, we're going to slowly descend. So we're up here, shoulders pulled down, cheeks squeezed, 10 seconds to get to the floor. 8, 7, 6. Chest and hips land at the same time in 2, 1. Either press off your elbows to get back up or tuck the hips, chest and hips leave at the same time, and let's assemble back up. One more time in that push-up position. 10, 9, 8. Squeeze. Keep that plank tension. Slowly in 3, 2, and tap down. One last press up from the elbows or pushing back up. Push the floor forward, tipping the hips. Go back and then press through out of that hinge to tall. And give it a little shake.
Shake, shake, shake. We've warmed up on those squats. We'll transition now to include the lunge in today's practice. With those feet in the parallel position, take a step back, land on the high heel position or that demi point of the foot. Take a second. Isometric will ascend or go up in the lunge. Now, let's do the opposite, those scissor tension techniques from Lauren's warm-up. Pull the front leg in and press the back hip forward. Then press the back leg back, front leg forward, and stand up, assembling in your tall stand. Repeat on the other side. Take a balance aid at your side if you need, and step back to that nice high lunge. To come up out of the lunge, it presses the front foot forward and the back foot to the back. Energize the quads, core, and hips. Coast that effort away. Without going anywhere, let's pull the front leg in, pressing the back hip forward, scissor tension in the hips for balance and strength, and then relax. Then if we press the back foot forward and the front one front, we'd end up standing tall. Let's repeat one more time, adding on as we go through that. This time, we'll pull in first to descend in the lunge, and then press away to stand up. Single leg to the back. Scissor in, and maybe we'll count to 5, 4, 3. Does the knee approach the floor? And rest. Then press forward and back. Stand up tall, and repeat on the other side. Take a single leg back. We're scissoring in. The front leg is being drawn into the hip. The back hip squeezing, staying nice and extended to the ground. Then press forward through the front, back through the rear, and back to the tall stand. Shaking it out.
Whew. One more set of push-ups. Sounds great. Let's get to the floor via that forward fold this time. So with our feet underneath us, we'll gently tuck our chin, and we'll slowly start curling or rounding forward. Imagining each vertebrae flexing here and keeping those hips from pushing back behind you. So transfer that weight more into the forefoot of your, and then once down in this forward fold, take a second, and we'll slowly walk ourselves up to assume that push-up position. Let's pick a number this time, anywhere from 1 to 5 push-ups, continuous, not slow-mo. Get that plank position from the knees or the toes. We're pulling ourselves down and pressing ourselves back up. Keep those lats engaged by keeping the shoulders low. Squeeze the cheeks. The hips are the same height as that upper body. The core is still braced. Last one for us. And then again, we'll press that floor forward, lifting the hips up, walking the feet towards the hands. and coming up out of the reverse forward fold. So stacking. Engage your core to stack vertebrae by vertebrae. Head last to land.
Lunges for one more set here. This time, we're aiming to do about 2 or 3, because it's Lauren's favorite number of repetitions. Take the single leg back, and let's pull ourselves down for 5. 4, we're pulling that tension into center, and to ascend, press away. Repeating, pull in. We're keeping this back hip extended, so the hip of Lauren's closest to the camera, pushing forward, then press back to stand tall. And for one more time, scissoring in. Great tall upper body here. Return to the floor with control, and then press, and then carry that back leg through to the tall stand. Find a way to make 3 repetitions enough. We could do 10, we could do 20, but find that tension to make 3 just right for you. Step back, scissor in, 4. We're squeezing the back hip forward to stay tall and descend. Front foot forward, back leg back to tall. As much as you can, Lauren's doing a great job here. Keep that shin in the front vertical and the quad, femur in the back, also vertical. Then press forward, tall, and one last time, scissor in. The shoulders, the ribs, they stay over top of those hips as we descend. Then press forward and back, feet together. Add that little shake. And I have one more idea for those hips in a second, unless we might have one more set of push-ups, I'm not sure.
Sure, one more set of push-ups, I guess.
Okay.
Let's get to the floor via that hinge again, and if you're not into push-ups, we could do a plank as well. So we'll chop those hips back, sending the hips back, wearing that load on our hamstrings, still feeling that core brace and keeping the shins vertical. Once we're done in that hinge, either assemble in your plank position or your push-up. You have the same amount of tension in the butts and the abs as in both. Here we go, 1 to 5 push-ups. Pull yourself down and press back up. Keeping your head in line with your shoulders, your hips in line with your shoulders. Those hands are gripping the floor with all 10 fingers. And I believe we have one more here for 5. And then we'll push that floor forward, lifting the hips, walking the hands back to the feet, bending the knees to end up in your hinge position. And then pressing through to tall and shake.
Tall. Lauren has the bar right here. I'm going to run and get that yellow chair that we like to use as well. So grab your balance aid, and we have one more move for those hips.
Grab that balance aid, get it at your side, and we will be doing our leg bars.
Leg bar. Leg bar to body. In the hamstring stretch earlier, Lauren had our inseam turn up. Then we turned it in. But repeat a turn up or an external rotation in the hip. Then take that leg from the front and reach it to the side and replicate that same exercise. Turn in on the hip and feel those lateral butt cheek muscles say hello. And then turn open and maybe feel the posterior butt cheeks work there too. Repeat one more turn in. Now with that inseam facing in, I'm going to try to touch Lauren's foot along the floor. Reach away from center. Keep the standing hip strong and try to touch the middle of the room. Then relax. Keep those hips forward. Turn in on this hip one more time. And same effort, reach along the floor. Straighten the knee. Turn in on the hip. Feel the love, or at least the burn, on these lateral butt cheeks. Then with a straight leg, pull in, marry those inseams together. Hold those inseams pulling together, and then a low effort, relax.
Marry your inseams.
Marry them together, slurp them together, duct tape them together, but also look for that nice reach away as well. So we have a single leg here to the front. We'll do the turn out. That means our inseam's up. Then we'll do our turn in, inseam towards the middle, and then finish one more in the inseam out. Then round or circle that leg to the side, and same effort, turn in on the hip with a straight knee, turn out on the hip. Repeat one last time, turning in. Now with that on this lateral facing leg, reach away from center. Burn politely, but encourage the the hips to take that strength and reach to the side. Relax the effort, but hold the pose. Recalibrate, tuck under the standing leg, turn in on the laterally facing leg, and one last time, reach towards the center of the room or away from your body for 5. Straighten the knee, turn it on the hip for 2, for 1, and with a straight leg yet again, pull in together. That today is our restore and recharge practice where we use our body weight skills to add strength to you being here with us today.
Thank you for joining. Tomorrow morning we have Play With Your Strength at the Weekend workout where we will do a lot of this and also some other things like some single leg squats and crawling around. Join us for that.
Nice.
And together we'll start again next week on Tuesday soon.
Let's do it.
Goodbye.
Have a good weekend. Goodbye.